When America was founded and the Constitution was written, the revolutionists were breaking away from a tyrannical dictatorship. Technically, even the Founding Fathers had no right to list on paper the governance of man. They were imperfect men applying rule over mankind, but they did have an obligation to save mankind from the grips of the British Empire. The plan, I'm assuming, was to forge a path that should lead to even greater freedoms than those listed in the Constitution. So the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution were essentially a declaration that the Founding Fathers were breaking out of the prison that was the British Empire, and now they were free to pursue their individual dreams. In the beginning, I do believe America was a great country and a great place to live. Men then living in America were certainly experiencing a freedom they had never known before, but there were always the warnings from our Founding Fathers of the encroachment of tyranny that for the most part fell on deaf ears. Thomas Jefferson said it best when he stated, and I quote, "I believe the banking institutions are more dangerous to our liberties than standing armies. If the American people ever allow private banks to control the issue of their currency, first by inflation, then by deflation, the banks and the corporations that will grow up around the banks will deprive the people of all property until their children wake up homeless on the continent their fathers conquered. The issuing power should be taken from the banks and restored to the people to whom it properly belongs." End quote. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure it out, people. The Federal Reserve is this private bank, and its globalist owners have been planning the enslavement of the American people since before our fathers were conceived. Research The Creature from Jekyll Island. Their plan included the dumbing down of the American people through indoctrination and propaganda, forced medications and injections, and also a diet designed to alter and destroy good health. A big part of the plan was the emergence and implementation of the military-industrial complex. Without the technologies acquired through private military contractors such as Blackwater, this takeover would not be possible. It also included the destruction of the American economy and the individual wealth of most Americans. Wealth is power, and as of right now, Americans have very little of it. Many have a negative value of power. Gun confiscation is just around the corner. And so now here we are. Everything is backwards and upside down. Schools and universities destroy knowledge. Lawyers and judges destroy justice. The mainstream media destroys information and distributes propaganda. Doctors and pharmaceutical companies destroy health. Banks destroy wealth. Religions destroy spirituality. And governments destroy freedom. I'll give you a prime example of a backwards and upside down situation in my life that may be a shocker to some of you. Shocker number 1. I ran for state rep in the 2010 election. I'm not going to give you the details so that I may provide some level of protection for my family. I was running in District A. My opponent was Joe Democrat, whom had already proven himself unworthy as a lying, thieving city councilman. Joe Democrat lived in District B. He was running for District A, lived in District B. The rules stated that was legal during the campaign, but on election day, Joe Democrat had to live in the district he was campaigning for, which was District A. Well, as expected, the lying, thieving, established candidate won, but Joe Democrat failed to read the rulebook. Not only did he still reside in District B, he was stupid enough to go vote in District B. Joe Democrat had essentially forfeited the position to me. I contacted the Republican Party headquarters the next day looking for guidance so I could contest the election properly. I was told their best lawyers were on it. I received a call later that day, and I was told to keep quiet for 10 days. What I did not know was my window of opportunity to contest the election was only 5 days. I'm sure the Republican Party knew this. Needless to say, I could not contest the election after 5 days, and I realized the Republican Party would rather have a lying, thieving Democrat in the position rather than a freedom-loving Republican. The Republican Party had stuck a knife in my back. Here's shocker number 2. There's no difference between the Democrat and Republican establishments. I've come to the conclusion this is how it works. There are some very rich and powerful people at the local levels. As long as they play by the rules, they are given dominion over certain territories by the higher-ups. These powerful people know in order to pacify the constituents of their territory, they must place into position a favorable puppet politician. In District A, the constituents want a black Democrat. They get a black Democrat. In District B, the constituents want a white Republican. They get a white Republican. And it's always a puppet candidate chosen by the local level oligarchy. The whole election process is rigged from top to bottom. I think participating in an election process is an exercise in futility. But go ahead and vote just in case I'm wrong. I could be wrong, but I doubt it.